Welcome back, everyone. In the age of the internet, it's becoming increasingly popular for parents to share every aspect of their child's life online, but not everything is positive. There's actually an increasing trend of parents live streaming their children being disciplined. Joining us for Real Talk today, Kara Kinnear, author Beth Carey, and author and comedian Amy Lau. Welcome. Okay, we have a couple of birthday shout outs. Amy recently had a birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
29.
29 and holding.
Are you Aries as well?
I'm Aries, on Sunday.
I am too.
And
good.
you are too?
Mine was the 31st.
No! Happy birthday.
And my daughter's is today.
Her daughter's is today, so we want to make sure to tell her name. Give her
Leah, happy birthday.
there. That's sweet. 25 years. You know,
25.
that's impossible. That's
good
impossible.
age.
I know.
No,
All right, well, speaking of children, what do you guys think about this? Let's dive in a little bit further. The New York Post recently reported that with over 30,000 clips and counting uploaded online, people are tuning in to watch parents take these extreme disciplinary actions, like giving kids embarrassing haircuts as discipline, in one case forcing a child to drink hot sauce, and then take an ice cold shower while being yelled at. Have you ladies ever seen this online?
I saw the gentleman from Texas who his daughter had written derogatory things about him,
Oh,
and
yes.
he shot her computer.
Yeah, I
She
saw.
was not in the video though.
Right, I saw a little bit of that just because it was
viral.
Kara, have you seen?
Well, I
some?
haven't seen any of it because I don't really look for
Yeah,
it.
me neither.
But I don't understand what the end game is here. So are we doing this because we want a viral video? Like, is that why we're doing it? Because what good is coming out of it as far, like, I'm trying to understand why you would even do that.
Right.
I think they're frustrated. I think the
Oh, of
parents
course.
are
Yeah.
frustrated.
Yes, and I've been there, but is that type of embarrassment, shame, is that an effective form of discipline?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And first of all, I think your consequences for a behavior that you're trying to change has to be a consequence that relates. So if you cut your kid's hair off, what does his hair have to do with the behavior you're trying to change?
Right.
You know, if you cut his hair off because he spends too much time or she spends too much time primping the hair, and that's why the grades are poor, maybe that's a connection, but probably not the best connection.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, if your kid leaves his bike out in the,
Right.
you know, in the yard in the rain, you take the bike away. You don't
Right.
take,
Yeah.
you know,
I just think
something else away.
Well, it's not just shame on the parents, I really believe, for filming that, and then shame on who's ever watching.
Right, who's seeking
Right.
it
What
out.
have we come to that, you know, we are interested in watching these children get demeaned, humiliated. I throw my hands up.
And then what kind of role modeling are we doing for
That's
what
Exactly.
we want our kids
So-
to put on social
Yeah, so
media?
do you post it on social media because you're teaching them if something is out of control that you feel like you've lost control over, you've lost grasp of disciplining in some way, that we put it online and that's the way you get attention to solve your problems? Like, is that what we're saying? I'm trying to draw a straight line.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't make sense.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Amy?
I think shame is effective not in a public forum like that, but you know, we have a house filled with teenagers, and so our rule is, hey, if you're not up on time to drive the car that we so graciously got for you, then the next day you're going to ride the bus. Well, to a teenager, that's like, what? That's so embarrassing to
Right.
them. Or, you know, my daughter would not clean her clothes up. And I think that's disrespectful. They don't do a lot. You have to take care of your space. You're a citizen of our home. And so I warned her, I said, if you don't do this, I'm going to take away the problem. And so she had to dress like a Catholic schoolgirl for many months, you know, in khakis and a couple of shirts. And there was no
Right.
more yelling. And
Good
it was like,
for
and
you.
there was an embarrassment. That's not why I did it. I didn't do
No.
it to embarrass her. I did it.
so
it's
the
like-
punishment would fit the crime.
Right.
Right.
And she was embarrassed, but of course I didn't put that on social media.
Right.
But it was, I think peer pressure is
Kind of play into
played
that.
into it a little bit. Like, I don't want to ride the bus. I'm like, well, then get up on time.
Right. Well, it's interesting that the term tough love was frequently used in these video descriptions. And I don't know. That is not, I mean, to be quite honest, what you do, that's tough love. Like you.
Privately, right.
You're privately, you're trying to really make a case, make a statement in behavior that needs to change. And it wasn't easy for you to do. You didn't want to do that, or you don't want to send them on the bus, but you're trying to have them get a lesson sink in for them.
Right, there
But
has
it's
to be
tough
middle
sometimes.
ground, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of people want to be friends with their children, and they want, their goal in life is to make their children happy. That's not the goal as a
If you
parent.
look-
Your
if you look
job
up
is
parent,
to
that's
create.
not the definition.
Right.
Friend of my offspring. That's not.
No.
That's not
Yeah,
the definition.
You
You're
want
right,
to
Amy.
create citizens
That's funny.
of the world, and in citizens of the world, there are natural consequences to their behavior. And I think so. I don't think there's enough parenting going on, but then that is an extreme.
Well, and I kind of wish we could change
measure.
that tough love, because it makes us sound like we are doing something good. Why not change it to something more like, let's say, consistent parent love, which says you're doing your job. You're
Yeah.
being a parent and you're doing it consistently, because you need to start when they're very, very, very
Right.
little.
I know.
If you want to have any hopes of having any control when they're in their teen years. Do
Right.
you not agree?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys
Yeah.
have younger
we're
ones,
watching
but Amy and I have
Amy.
the teens.
We're watching you guys in like sponges
Right.
learning.
Yeah,
And it
I mean,
works.
the tantrums only last
does
for
work.
so long, right? So you can
True.
do anything for a short amount of time. And when I punish my son and he's really mad at me, I'm like, now I know it'll be over soon,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But you can't like waver on that, because they smell weakness.
They
They
can
do.
smell
They
it.
hone in
really
on
do.
it.
And they play mom
Yeah.
and dad against each other. They're like, Mom.
And you can also, what works for one child in the way of
Very
Yeah.
true.
doesn't
Doesn't
work for
work.
the other one.
No.
I know my
And,
parents used to
you
make me
know-
go to my room. I'm like, yes!
Yes,
I
right.
love going to my room.
Right.
Take my son's cell
Yeah,
phone
surprise.
away, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't do anything on my
just-
cell phone anyway.
Wow, but
So,
another
but my daughter,
child.
woo.
It's like
don't
you
take-
rip off their
don't
arm and
Take
take
that
their cell phone
girl's,
away.
phone
Do you
away
think
as a
that
kid.
the difference then, there's punishment and then there's disciplining? In my mind, those are very different things. I mean, punishing is just such a negative connotation. It's you're punished. I don't think I use that word
No,
anymore
Christine,
in my house.
I agree with you completely. I thought a lot about this question, and punishing is a very negative thing, but punishing is really a consequence. It's a consequence from lack of discipline. Think about it. If
like
you
that.
discipline
Write that
because
down.
you're running a marathon, right? The consequence of not being disciplined to train, because discipline is training.
Right.
Right? And if
you
you
will
don't
pass
train,
out.
you're going to
Yeah.
pass out. You're
Right.
going to get a cramp.
Right.
You're going to, military discipline. I mean, all of these things, it's an act of training is discipline. And we want to give our kids those kinds of skills. And then if they don't use their discipline, then they're going to have a natural consequence, which is
Yeah,
a form of
a
punishment.
form of punishment.
Which should come naturally.
Yeah, I like the way I want to make sure I'm going to rewind the show so I can write that down, put it
That
on
was
my mirror.
that was my really solid thought for the day.
I love it.
I'm done. That's
I
it.
love it. Okay, on a related topic, a new study conducted by ParentWise looked at 2,000 American parents of school-age children, asked whether they had looked at their kids' phones. 75% admitted they had snooped. Have you or would you? Just 75?
Yeah, why would I'm Snoop, please.
I think the other 25% lied.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I
Why
think
would
so
you not
too.
snoop?
84% said they
Right.
snoop to keep their child safe. Do you think that's why they do it?
I think they do it. We had a situation. It was just right there. So I was scanning through it, and there was somebody saying they were going to self-harm themselves and keep coming. And our
no.
daughter was, internalizing this, and I was like, oh my goodness. And that was a safety issue. I felt like she was getting involved with
Yes.
that. So I don't snoop that often. But if they're acting really strange, I do ask them, and then I might.
And then you might.
Yeah.
Kara, you would do it.
Yeah, sure, I would do it. I mean, it kind of backfired on me recently because I always tell James that his things aren't his, that Daddy and I paid for those things, and so nothing is actually yours. And so yesterday, I asked him to go get me a stool so I could get something in my closet, and he goes, "It's not mine, it's yours." I said, "Can you go get your little stool in your room?" And he said, "Well, it's not my stool, it's your stool."
That's good training right there.
and I was like,
Wow. So he's like, no, you can get it yourself, Mom.
"Yeah, it's
he's
not
how
my
old?
stool, it's
Yeah,
5."
he's
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But no, as far as that goes, that's like a whole other thing. And I think now, there are things that we can do as parents to monitor our kids' safety online, like Bark
Yes, like
and those
Bark.
things. Yes.
Yes.
And people in the building use that app. And but I think that there is no real I mean, you want to respect their privacy, but there's no real privacy when you're trying to parent.
Right?
No, and there's stuff
Until they're out of my house.
I don't know.
That's going
and
to
you're paying for the cell
damage.
phone
Yes.
most of the time,
So
so
damaging.
it is your phone.
Yes.
Right.
What,
To look
did you,
at.
what were you saying
The
about Jim?
stuff that's available.
Oh, I
because
know.
even if you put the restraints on it, if they're outside of your network, there's a million websites of how to get around the parental controls. It is a soul-sucking hole to go
No,
down that's
no.
available, and you do not want your children
Gives me
looking
goosebumps. It's
at
horrible.
really, really bad things.
Right. Oh, that just made it really
Yeah.
sad. I want to end it on a positive note. Say something encouraging, please. Dad.
Talk to your
Yes.
kids.
Talk to your
talk
kids.
to them, and then you won't have to snoop so much and be involved in their
Yes.
lives.
Right.
Don't just drop them off at practice, go to practice, watch practice, Talk with them, do things with them, do
Right.
activities with them. Even though they'll say they don't want you around, they really do.
They really do.
I believe
Thank
that.
you. That made me
Yeah,
feel better.
okay, good.
All right, listen, we want you
doing a good
to
job.
help us weigh in with your experience. Please make sure you comment, keep the conversation going, and we really would love to hear from you. That's facebook.com/ATL & Co. And speaking of, Trent is up next with What's Trending. We'll be right back.